Eth, can you sing us the intro song, please?
Hey guys, this is the intro. Ethan's Car Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Chaotic Voyage Podcast.
Ethan's Car Podcast.
I'm Cameron. I'll be your captain for this chaotic voyage. With me is my first mate, Paris.
Hello.
And Ethan from Ethan's Car Podcast.
And Ethan is joining us from the boiler room again. Paul Johnson is also joining us, but I forget, why can't he speak again?
Who are you asking?
Just anyone who knows. I need answers.
I heard that he had a dentist appointment.
He's joining us live from the dentist.
He's joining us live from the drilling chair.
But his mic is muted so that you don't hear the screams.
He's having a root canal.
Yeah. And last order of business, Ethan, can you provide us with that awesome bleep sound you said before? I don't think that was it, but I guess we'll just use that. Alright, cool.
One of them will do.
Yeah.
Beep sound proudly sponsored by Ethan's Car Podcast.
You know that if you say that this episode's sponsored, you're going to have to pay Paris and myself. Like, I'm happy to shout out this podcast that totally exists.
How much are you giving us?
But yeah, you'll have to pay up.
How do you guys like 3D printed supplies?
Can you 3D print me some money?
I don't think you can legally answer that.
I'll be expecting something in the mail.
So, Paris,
Yeah.
this is a question inspired by a recent event. Have you ever honked the horn of your car when you're actually just driving around? Like, not to friends and stuff, but like you've been annoyed at someone.
Oh.
Bloody cycles.
I actually haven't, but there have been times when I could have. Once this idiot pulled out in front of me without even looking, I had to just quickly swerve to avoid him. I could have definitely honked my horn then to be like, hey, look what you're freaking doing. But the guy obviously knew he did something wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably should have just blasted my horn, but the situation was avoided, and I just kept driving, and I was like, it's too far back now. He knows he messed up. So no, I haven't, but I could have. How about you?
I have actually, uncharacteristic of me, the non-confrontational person I am. So I was driving my mom to work, and we were at the lights, and they turned green, and the car in front just didn't go. And without even thinking, I honked the horn, and then the drivers kept going. And then my mom turns to me, and she's like, I can't believe you actually did it. And I was like, neither can I. I've driven for years now, never even once considered using I guess I've probably considered, but never got close to using it. And I just
Just went all out.
yeah, I was just like, what the hell?
You unleashed the inner beast.
And then it got even more awkward because it turns out we were both going to the same destination. So it's just like, I honked the horn at them, and then I proceed to follow them for another 5 minutes. And I was just like,
They probably,
oh God.
they probably think
Yeah.
you were hunting them down for not going at the lights.
I was so paranoid the whole time following them. I'm like, come on, take a turn.
Do you get that in public as well, just when you're walking?
Well, I just followed people.
Well, no. But for example, when I'm in a busy place, and because I'm a pretty fast walker, I hate slow walkers.
Yeah, agreed.
I often find myself trying to overtake someone, but there's not much space on the footpath, and you don't want to seem rude, so you're like, I'm not in a rush to get anywhere. I can walk a normal pace. So you start to do that, but I often find myself just speeding up subconsciously, and I think, well, eventually this person's gonna turn down a street or change directions, but they don't, and you're kind of closely following behind because you want to overtake them, but you've been closely following them for 5 minutes. You're like,
yeah, I've done that before.
Please just change direction and go somewhere else.
I've had that walking back from a train to my house at like late at night. So that
Oh.
they just hear someone behind them like walking fast, and I was like, this is awkward.
Walking fast on their tail for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately my house isn't that far.
I've been in that situation so many times, like a couple times when driving, but I think it's even worse when you're walking. You don't mean to follow them, but they're just going to the same place as you. Ugh.
What about you, Ethan?
I'm a very speedy walker. So, like, I'm always overtaking people no matter what.
I do it a lot when I'm like walking into work.
You got a uniform on, you're like, out of my way. I've got important things to do. Look at my uniform.
They're probably just like, look at this guy. He's just charging past me. I'm like, I just have to get to work.
I get that when I'm in my uniform too, but I'll let Ethan answer the question first.
What question?
Do you ever follow people on your bike?
Do you ever follow people?
That's the subtitle for this podcast.
No, it's not.
On a bike, it's a bit different because, like, the whole slipstreaming thing, it's, like, quite normal to be, like very close to someone and just following where they go.
So you're telling me that if I'm on a bike, I get a free pass to just follow people?
Sort of, but not really. To an extent, like...
I'm just, like, riding behind someone who's walking, and they're like, what are you doing?
I'm on a bike.
I'm getting the slipstream.
I'm in your slipstream.
You're like full aero tuck behind them, like no wind resistance on you whatsoever.
Love the aero tuck. I guess talking about honking again, there was another story I had recently where the opposite happened. I didn't honk. Basically, I was going down the road. We're stopped at the lights. We weren't the first this time. Like, there are a couple cars in front of him. So they all go, and this guy doesn't move. I was just like, what is he doing? I was like, I'll give him a second to realize. In hindsight, I gave him a bit longer than I should have.
Yeah.
And I look in the back of the car, and I see like his head move up. I'm like, this dude's on his phone. Like, it was a very obvious he's on his phone, just like the way that he wasn't moving. Like, all the cars in front of him had moved, and I was just like, I should have beeped him.
Yeah.
Then, right as he starts driving off, the lights turns orange, and I missed the lights. So that sucked. And I watched him drive off. And then, coming down the opposite lane was a cop car. I was like, they could have backed me up if he got out to stab me. So, it was a lose-lose-lose situation.
I don't know if he would have stabbed you.
He might have. You don't know. Did you know him?
You don't know his story, Paris.
Yeah.
I think most people would be like, oh, yeah, he's absolutely right. I shouldn't be on my phone.
The problem is, though, is that most people would, but there's always that one.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen enough videos to know that there are people out there who are like, how dare you tell me off for being on my phone? I have the right.
Yeah.
I'm going to stab you for it.
Stab you for real.
Yeah. That's my story.
Your New Year's resolution should be to honk at as many people as possible and see how long you can go without being stabbed.
And we'll do weekly updates until you can no longer do weekly updates because you're internally bleeding.
Yeah. It'll just be a weak me update.
Nice. And eventually I'll have to go, I'm your captain for this episode because Cameron was stabbed. If you were on death row, what would your last...
I'm not on death row. Next question.
I didn't ask, are you?
Too personal. Next question.
What would your last meal be? Last meal ever.
Have you heard about the guy who ate a Bible?
Oh, what?
Yeah, what?
For his last meal, he ate the entire Bible.
Oh, yeah, actually I have heard about that.
That's
Wasn't it like a Satanist or something?
Yep.
Oh. Still stupid.
Oh, I mean, obviously.
Like, why would you give him the Bible to eat?
That's not even a meal. How, like, surely if he requested it, the warden or whoever's in charge of that would be like, we can't do that. You have to order food.
No, legit, you can order anything.
Anything that can be eaten.
Sorry, we don't serve Bibles here. I don't know what my last meal would be. it'd probably be this week's sponsor, Subway.
You probably would have Subway for your last meal.
Yeah, it's tempting.
You do love it. Well, at my last meal, thanks for asking, guys.
Thank her.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going. I want to know now.
Well, it's a bit of a toss-up between three of my favourite foods, right?
Yep.
Either some bibimbap, which is a Korean dish. For those who
Okay.
don't know, it's very good. Butter chicken, of course.
It's a good one.
Yep. Or just like a really fat burrito. Just like a really good burrito. But here's the thing, there's no guarantee that that meal that you get, that last meal, is gonna even be good.
That's why you specify, I want it good.
Say you ask for a burrito. You could get a burrito with like all the ingredients you asked for and stuff, but it could just be terrible. And then it's like, well, that was a terrible last meal. Can't
Yeah.
believe that's the last thing I'm eating before I die. So you'd have to specify that I want it from Zambrero's and not
I
this
had a
other cheap
Zambro's
place.
burrito today.
Yeah, was it
Yeah.
freaking good?
So good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Alright.
So Cameron would ask for a very specific type of butter chicken that he gets from this one place. I know
Yeah.
that for sure.
Well, to be fair, if you're on death row, I think you don't deserve a good meal.
Yeah.
Requesting it's
fair
fine,
enough.
but if you like did something to deserve death row, I want whatever you ask for to be burnt or something. Just really disappointing.
Man, it's not enough that they get killed or executed. They have to have a disappointing meal beforehand as well.
Well, you know what? If they wanted my sympathy, they shouldn't have done whatever
The punishment
they did.
fits the crime, I guess.
Yeah.
Have a burnt
Exactly.
steak and a flat Coke.
Here's an idea. If you want a good meal, don't commit murder.
That's true. And you can quote Cameron on that.
You can.
Did Ethan answer?
I would make it like the hardest thing to eat, so it takes ages.
I think they have workarounds for that.
Like a bowl of gobstoppers or something?
No, like an engine.
I think there's a time limit on it so that people can't just be
Yeah.
like, for my last meal, I want a lifetime supply. I guess I don't know if it's a lifetime supply if they're going to die immediately. Anything's a lifetime supply then.
Yeah.
But-
They say, you only got 10 minutes to scoff this Bible down before you're getting electrocuted.
Wow, it's a lifetime supply of Bibles.
That's pretty impressive. If that guy like annihilated the Bible in like 10 minutes.
They probably schedule the executions. It's like, make sure you eat before 9 o'clock on Tuesday, because that's when you're getting the chair.
Yeah. I doubt they're like waiting for him to eat. They're like, oh, hurry up.
He's like strapped into the electric chairs, just munching on a Bible. Everyone's looking at their watches.
Yeah.
Come on.
Surely you would like eat something that's like that would react with like the electric chair.
What
I'm
could
not
you eat
sure.
that reacts with an electric
I
chair?
don't know.
That's like a food.
You eat raw chicken, so when you get fried, it becomes fried chicken.
Well, that's an awesome plan. Can you fry a chicken in a man's stomach? We'll find out next time on Mythbusters. The final season.
Oh no, Mythbusters has gone downhill.
Has Mythbusters gone too far this time? Find out on this week's episode.
And then Adam Savage is like, I don't think we've gone far enough. They put like a whole chicken in the electric chair and just zap it until it cooks. Well, it didn't work. All we got was zappy chicken.
Zappy chicken. I go for a zappy chicken.
That'd be my last meal.
Zappy chicken.
Tastes shocking. You guys have any pet peeves?
Yes.
Anything that people do that really annoy you?
Take a long time to think when answering questions. That's annoying.
That pisses me off.
People who like just want to host their own podcast, it's definitely going to fail. It's just like, what are you doing? What a waste of time. That's kind of annoying, I'd say.
People who have the audacity to call themselves the captain.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely have some, but I don't tend to think about them unless it like pops up. Be like, that's annoying if someone does something, but I'm not like, I really hope they don't do this.
I've already said it, but slow walkers really piss me off.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I've thought of one. It's related to that, but it's like a group of 8 people who all walk in a line,
Oh, yeah.
like,
It's like
and
some of you
not
need
let
to
anyone
walk
pass.
behind.
It's just like, come on. If they're slow walkers and like they take up the entire width of whatever you're
Oh,
walking,
yeah. Then you have to
then you're
walk
like,
on the
I can't
road
do anything.
to avoid them.
Yeah,
It's like
you just have to
cars go
charge
there.
through.
Charge through, yeah. Gotta form the triangle with your hands and arms and make the plow. You just gotta go right through the middle.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we should make the plow socially acceptable to do.
yeah,
people are doing
if you're
that.
being a group of slow dogs walking in the middle of the footpath, then it's acceptable for someone to then plow all of those people.
It's acceptable for them to run straight through all of you.
Yeah, the clothesline and the plow are the two acceptable moves in that situation.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but one of mine that I just thought of because a group of random friends in public reminded me when people on the train or bus or airplane or any like publicly used transportation playing like music out loud through their phone speaker for everyone
I
in
hate
that
that.
small confined space to hear. That's
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty annoying.
yeah. And it's kind of similar to people talking in movie theatres too. And you're always hoping there's that one person who stands up to them, who just turns around and says, "Can you shut up?" But
Yeah,
no one ever does. I really wish I was the kind of person to just stand up and give them a piece of my mind, but I'm not.
that reminds me of a story. I've told you before, Paris, but Ethan hasn't heard it. It was when coming back from uni one day on the train, and this person was doing that thing where they play the music out loud,
Yeah.
and like someone was just like, "Excuse me, can you please turn that down?" Or actually,
Good on
no,
them.
they said it more aggressively. It's like, "Can you turn that crap off or something?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, not the best way to handle it.
Still,
And
still
then
good
someone
they
else,
said something.
yeah, but then someone else went off at them. They're like, "Don't talk to her like that. She's a woman or whatever. You're not allowed to abuse women." And I was just like, "Oh, here we go." So it turned into this whole thing of like, the person just wanted the music quiet so they could
The
talk to
person
their
who's
friend.
in the wrong is being praised.
Yeah, because
Because the other person stood up for everyone else on the train that's trying to have a peaceful ride.
yeah, like I was trying to read a book, but I couldn't because like this music's blasting. But yeah, so then this guy goes off at him. He's like, "Don't abuse her," and it's like, she was doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I forget exactly how it ended, but
Probably ended with the person who's playing the music continuing to blast Shawn Mendes on their phone.
I think it did. Yeah,
And everyone else having to put up with that shit.
if you just maybe handle that slightly better,
Yeah.
we would all be a lot happier.
It's also like when people talk really loud on their phones, like in
Oh,
public.
Yeah.
That too.
Like we don't want to know all your information, like where you going clubbing tonight.
Oh, yeah, just grab my bank card. The PIN number is redacted, 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 redacted.
It'll be under the stone at blah 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 street.
100 Mansion Way.
No one's home, but don't go inside,
Oh, I've
even though
left
the
the
key
safe
is right next
unlocked
to it.
as well. There's diamonds in
Can
there.
you can you close the safe for me when you get there?
The alarm system's broken, so don't worry about that.
My guard dog's at the pound, so I know you hate dogs, so that's fine.
One thing I might bring up. is how do you guys feel about people who pick their nose in public? Is that a pet peeve? You don't care? Because I found a lot of people have different opinions on this.
I do it.
Yeah, me too. I do the cheeky dry pick sometimes. It's never like a deep penetration or anything, and it's never like in front of people while I'm staring at them. Sometimes there's a crusty
Basically got
bugger in
tissue.
there. Yeah, tissues too, they help. And you just got to get them out because like there's no other way.
I scratch my nose so hard that they just sort of like
You scratch inside the nostril.
no,
or-
like on the outside. I do like a really vicious, but like that would lead to like some just like falling out.
I think scratching the nose, even the inside the nose a little bit, that's pretty acceptable. I think picking's not too bad, but when it's like someone who's like deep in there, and like you can see snot, or like someone who picks and flicks, or someone who picks and eats, that's a whole different thing. That's not on. That's disgusting.
Oh, yeah. Haha, I agree. Terrible.
Are you saying you eat your boogers, Kevin?
Hmm?
I'll take that as a yes. You know what? I'd rather have someone pick their like filthy overflowing nose in front of me and eat it than be stuck behind a slow walker, I think. Like, honestly, I hate slow walkers.
You've heard it here first, folks. If Paris is walking behind you, just turn around and pick your nose and eat it in front of him.
Yeah, like, well, at least I'd be able to get past them, that's the thing.
That's true.
So, what are some overrated TV shows that you don't find that great? And what are some underrated TV shows you think deserves more praise?
So I think Top Gear deserves more praise.
A lot of people like Top Gear already.
Yeah, I don't think that's really underappreciated. All right, I've got it. The answer is Big Bang Theory. It's way too overrated and a terrible TV show.
Yeah, agreed.
It's alright.
I still don't
Get off.
find it as terrible as you, but I do agree that it's way too overrated.
Badongi.
Boy Jingos.
Pollution.
Bronchitis.
Bilingual.
Violin. Oh my god.
I don't really know too many underrated shows.
Yeah.
I
What
know
about
one.
shows that have great potential but sort of lost it?
Yeah,
Iron Fist.
yeah, agreed.
I'm gonna take one for all like the people who are into technology and all that.
Yeah.
The White Rabbit Project. It's like by the people who are in Mythbusters.
Mythbusters people. I watched a
Yeah.
couple episodes of that,
Like,
but
it had so much potential to be like a good highlight of technology,
Yeah.
but it's really not. It's like quite boring to watch, and it's like
yeah,
really
I
repetitive.
only got through 2 episodes.
And it doesn't show what technology has evolved to.
It's kind of like Mythbusters, but like the 3 side people only, and just
And they're not doing
worse.
any myth busting. It's just like them.
I mean, I think that's just that they're not doing Mythbusters anymore. So
I would have been happy with a standalone Mythbusters show with just those guys.
Yeah, that
would've
would
been
be pretty cool.
fine.
yeah,
One show that I would say is quite underrated was a show called Banshee. People who haven't seen it highly recommend this show. It's very good, quite underrated, very violent, graphic, cool, and it went for 4 seasons, I think.
yeah,
But they still had so much they could have done with it. They had to stop because it just wasn't getting the kind of views that they wanted.
yeah. That's sad.
Quite disappointing. But still, even though they ended it where they ended it, still very good, and I recommend it. Not many people talk about that show or know about it really, and I think part of it was because I think it was airing during the same time seasons of Game of Thrones were airing, so people It's kind of getting
Yeah,
overshadowed.
good
People watching that.
Yeah.
But some guy who I used to work with recommended the show to me. Like, because I was telling him how good Game of Thrones is, and he was like, "Yeah, Game of Thrones is good, but you should watch this show." I don't want to compare them like that because they're both really good. But yeah, that got me really interested. He was like, "Man,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is good, but this show," and I was like, "I've never heard of it." And he's like, "That's the thing. Not many people know that it's going." And then by the time I watched it, it was the final season. But yeah.
That's kind of good. Like, you don't have to wait for everything, and you kind of know that it's ending.
And when I watched it, I couldn't believe people didn't know about it and people weren't talking about it because of like how good it actually was.
Yeah.
Definitely an underrated show. Watch it if you can. I think you'll enjoy it.
Ethan,
Yes.
do you have a place where people can find you?
Like my social media.
Yeah, well, I guess you don't have a YouTube channel, so don't bother.
Not yet.
Stay tuned for Ethan's channel. Feel free to comment, ask us questions. We want to answer questions.
Yes. Tell us what you want us to talk about.
You can control the show.
You can and you shall.
Yep.
You have the power.
Yep. Like and comment, subscribe, tell your friends, share.
Eventually, if you guys want more Ethan, there will be a Ethan's YouTube channel about cars.
Will there actually?
Yes.
Do you know what you got? You should make the channel now so we can shout it out.
Well, we'll just have Ethan on when he releases it.
Yep.
Watch this space.
We'll hopefully get other big car names.
Like S dudes, shout out.
Yeah, remember to smash that like button.
We've already been through this.
Is that land I see in the distance?
I
Bang.
think it is. Goodbye.
Oh.